It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Now for my favorite part of the show, wherein I guess what's in Tim's background. And Tim, I think last week I said it was. I thought you had a picture of Hitler's penis. I'm going to double down right now and say this week you got a picture of Epstein's penis. Am I right about that, Tim?
Oh, I am so sorry. You're on the completely wrong track.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm here on Michelle Obama's scalp.
Yeah, I was wondering. I thought you were standing in front of barbed wire, and I thought you were trying to make your way out of Stalag 17.
No, that's
but
indeed. I'm looking. Yeah, they do come out curly.
Yeah. Well,
Wait a minute. I hope it's her scalp.
Hey-o! Hey, and Cujo's, as Michael Jordan would say to me, for after all these many years, not stepping on a Tim Slagle joke. Okay, so we're off to a great start right here. Yeah, and I know this was a story that we went into last week with Michelle Obama, but we will get to that shortly. But Chris, for some reason, his rundowns. I mean, I had not expected to talk about Epstein because there's some things I'm not ready for, like the Olivia Nuzzi love affair, whatever. I don't even know what happened. I just have seen a tweet
Olivia
about it.
I have no idea what
that
story even is.
And Epstein, I know that Trump has just he said that he authorized the release of the files, right? So we should be getting them post haste, should we not?
No, they have 30 days. They have 30 days to.
The only thing I knew about Epstein was that I saw something, and I never know what to believe on the Twitter anymore, but it was somebody who supposedly said that Epstein's penis was very much deformed and shaped like a lemon. Now, I just, so which would explain a lot, but I'm sure, it can't be true. But,
it does seem that the people with penile deformations are do have a tendency towards promiscuity.
Overcompensation.
Yeah. It's who is it? Paula. I can't remember her last name. The Clinton.
Poundstone?
No. Clinton's.
Oh yeah. Oh sure. Yeah.
You can't remember her last name either, can you?
No,
Jones.
because I'm thinking of every other Paula I know. Paula Ferris, whom I worked with at Channel 5. Oh, Chris has it.
Paula Jones.
Paula Jones, right.
Held up her little finger to show what it looked like.
See, I thought that there was like a distinguishing mark on it, which is the thing.
No,
I think you're the one who's always told me about that.
No,
that was Juanita Broderick who knew.
That's
who knew
Michael
about
Jackson. Michael Jackson has a black and tan.
I'm gonna take deformed penises, famous deformed penises, for 1,000 right now. Well, of course, Napoleon Bonaparte, which of course it was his punny name, and that's the original Napoleon complex because you're little. Although I understand when
so it was not just that he was tiny; he was also tiny.
Let me. Well, you know what? I'll bet you he probably was big, and because he was little in stature. That's where we get the tri-cornered, he was a three-legged footstool, probably.
He was.
Think about it, the tri-cornered hat.
Sure, he had his hand inside his waistcoat. I bet he was holding himself.
So, you won't get an intellectual discussion like this.
Yeah. You said it last week. We're getting closer to the man show every week.
Right. If only. So then Chris also has in the rundown here, I want to say Mary Tyler Moore. Tell me who I'm talking about. MTG is reborn. Marjorie Taylor Greene. And this is another one that I just, she's, the horseshoe theory about politics. Left
Sure.
becomes right, right becomes left, and it certainly seems fungible right now when you've got the likes of Tucker Carlson promoting Mamdani. So, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, I mean, what does she stand for anymore?
Being in the headlines.
Probably. I mean, that's probably the common denominator for all these people.
The ultra MAGA shtick didn't work, and it wasn't working anymore. It was
Right.
Trump was ultra MAGAing her. So I
Right.
mean, so she had no other choice but to turn left.
It's funny because I always try to look at the evidence in a light most favorable to people, like look at their arguments and not, the person, the ad hominem argument, and just because it's easy to call Pritzker fat, and it's fun. Ad hominem is fun. Don't get me wrong, but at some point, and I don't want to, and you always cast your opponent in the most demonic kind of light. So they're always selfish. They're always just looking for publicity. But at some point, it's true. It's true what they say about these publicity hounds.
It occurred to me because I know you fell for that Kyle Rittenhouse big boy thing.
Right, where Kyle Rittenhouse actually looks like the big boy. Yeah.
Yeah, you put Pritzker in some checkered pants.
Oh yeah.
And just comb that hair a little into a little wave.
No question about it. No.
Ringer.
Absolutely. So, all right. So one other thing he had on here.
Of course, that would be a bastardization because I think Big Boy's owned by Marriott.
Oh, right. They wouldn't want that, Hyatt and Marriott. Right. That'd be a conflict of interest. So what's the substance of Mary Tyler Moore Greene? Has she put down her space laser and studied more?
There you go. Chris found it.
We have a picture of Pritzker promoting Shoney's.
And so that's obviously AI because that hamburger has no bite taken out of it.
Okay. So I mean, is there any substance to her, or is she just looking for a new lane?
That's all I see is a new lane. Right. I mean, she's always been able to make her stay in the headlines. So.
Okay. Speaking of trying to find a new lane, so Chris next on the rundown had Chuck Schumer being a dead duck, and there was a really good article essay by Matt Continetti, late of the Commentary podcast, but now an opinion writer for the Wall Street Journal, and it really it comes down to Schumer is really he's really aced himself out. I mean, he's like he forced the government shutdown and did not redound to the benefit of the Democrats apparently, because he just alienated the base by actually allowing the poor and the destitute to get their food stamps again. But yeah, so he's bad that way. He also bungled his handling of Israel. Didn't do himself a favor with just about anybody there. So he's kind of like marginalized himself out of existence. Speaking of hamburgers,
he will not be the first New York resident to be taken out by a Puerto Rican kid.
That's what's going to happen. Jets versus Sharks, and Sharks win. I don't think there are any Jews among the Jets, though. Maybe that's.
How are we going to have to refer to her as? Will it be Senator Ocasio-Cortez? Will it be Senator Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or just Senator Cortez?
It's whatever it is. It's the presumptive
or SOC, maybe
Democratic nominee for president.
SAOC. That's
it's SAOC. Yeah, or just SOC. Okay. In any event, so did you see where Megyn Kelly? Speaking of people, publicity whores. Did you see where Megyn Kelly got very upset because the Babylon Bee did a little, took a jab at her by? They've done this joke with others as well. Megyn Kelly gets rid of her pager because of her criticism of Israel. She just got rid of her pager, something like that. I thought it was funny.
That is funny. Funny.
Yeah. Oh no. She demanded that the Babylon Bee delete that tweet. They they acquiesced. They did delete it. Horrible thing for them to have deleted that. And there's this whole thing about the problem with Megan is that she is she's not anti-Semitic herself. She's anti-Semitic adjacent. She won't lambast Tucker Carlson, who has Nick Fuentes on the show. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world to have a joke like that. And here's the thing: this guy Noah Rothman, who writes for the National Review, and I mean he's as neo-connish as you can get. Did you see where Buckley Carlson, Tucker's son? Tucker's got a son named. This is Tucker's brother named Buckley. He's also got a son named Buckley. They're both obviously named for William F. Buckley, I guess, who would probably be rolling. I think, and today is today the 100th birthday of William F. Buckley? I'm not sure. Or was he November 25th? Anyway, so
I can't believe you have that date memorized.
Well, he's my hero. William F. And this is the centennial of his birth, and and you hear me even much of my stuttering is imitative of William F. Buckley Jr. The only thing is that
how are you going to celebrate?
Well, he'd always come up with something profound after that. With me, I basically just continued stuttering. I don't know. Well, I'm going to celebrate. So here's the thing. Noah Rothman writes this piece about how the Buckley Carlson, the brother, says it was November 24th is the birthday, says Chris. Writes this piece about Buckley Carlson, Tucker's brother, saying it was really in bad taste for the Israelis, for Netanyahu, to present President Trump, I think, as well as Senator Fetterman, with this trophy of a pager. Okay. and which, I thought it was really funny. He says, what would it be like if, one of the Saudi emirs or princes had come and presented the president with a box cutter statue, reminiscent of what happened on 9/11. Sure. And of course, the only difference is that the box cutters killed Americans. Okay. The pagers killed the enemies of Israel as well as of America. So there's only that slight difference. But Noah Rothman said the joke about her Megyn Kelly didn't land. Apparently, I'm just thinking. Did you ever read Screw Tape Letters, C.S. Lewis?
I have.
Mean, the whole thing about the devil is the devil cannot stand to be ridiculed. Okay, that's the whole thing. And I thought the joke was as precise as the pager operation. It took out Kelly's reputation without any collateral damage to her artificial blonde body. So, I'm in favor of the joke. Aren't you? I mean, all in favor say aye.
Absolutely.
Is it okay? Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Okay. As referred to before, Tim's background, the picture of Michelle Obama's hair. The Daily Caller had a tweet about this. I mean, this story, this hair has legs, or this leg has hair, because this story is going into like the second week. But the Daily Caller had a tweet about this interview that Michelle Obama had done. She lashed out at white people during the first interview for her new book tour. Quote, "Why do we need an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair?" She hates the idea that black women, black people in general, have to, comport to white fashion by straightening their hair and not allowing their hair to frizz. I for one, wish that Cheryl Burton of Channel 7 had felt liberated enough to let her afro cover Ron Major's and Mark Giangreco's faces. But yes, you know what?
You know what too? I'm sick of white people wearing curlers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, wasn't that was the rage when we were growing up? There were a lot of white guys who got perms, as I recall.
When I was growing up, I had dreadlocks.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah.
Were you like into Rasta or
No, just a radical.
Were you a radical?
Kind of, yeah.
So are you like Reform? Are you like Whitaker Chambers or Russell Kirk, all these commies who
No,
who found the light, or
I'm just growing up. That's all.
I mean, at some point where you know, so many conservatives are former radicals.
No,
Were
I've
you?
always been on the libertarian side of radical.
Okay.
I've never been a left-wing radical. I've
Okay.
always been a libertarian radical.
Okay.
But when I turned 40, I said, there's two ways to get old. Either I can get old like Steven Tyler, which I find pathetic, or I can get old like Eric Clapton. So when I turned 40, I got rid of the leather jacket and dreadlocks.
There you go. All right. I get it. That works. So I think last week we referred to this. Victor Davis Hanson had this soundbite, where he in his monotone, and of course with the intellectual heft of somebody who not only knows who Thucydides is, but has written about him, whoever Thucydides was. But he just was asked about Michelle Obama's hair or her physique, and he said, just in a monotone, there are those on the right-wing fringe who try to compare her to some sort of simian or something, and it's just, the thing is, and I said, I think last week, when you hear like Sean from Elmwood Park, whose career I kind of gave birth to, and he's now on WIND, when he does it, I mean, it's out there, ultra comedy, but it's got a guy from Melrose Park doing it. Okay, when Victor Davis Hanson just mentions it, only to discount it, it actually gets more gravitas, but and seems more the criticism that he's leveling actually just it's belied by the fact that he's mentioning it. It makes you think, oh, maybe she really is a man, but even though he's trying to denounce it.
Do you remember the comparisons of George W. Bush to a chimpanzee?
George W. Bush.
That was a really popular trope. I don't think it was a meme back then because we didn't have memes.
Right.
It was a really popular trope back on the left
because he was dumb and he couldn't pronounce words and things like.
There were actually pictures of him comparing him to a chimpanzee. And it's actually on the Huffington Post. On the Huffington Post, they would refer to him as Chimpy McFlight Suit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, but it's okay to make fun of a white guy that way. Now, here's the thing. If I'm not mistaken, George W. Bush had a higher SAT score than Al Gore. Okay. Actually, oh yeah, there
you go. See?
there's the meme.
That's Chris just
speaking of SAT scores,
for those of you on the radio.
Yeah, speaking of SAT scores, did you see where there's the latest flap is that because we got rid of standardized testing for college, all hell is broken loose. You got places like the University of California, San Diego that are teaching remedial math now. I mean, like middle school math.
Oh, I saw one
entrance. Yeah,
I saw one, and I don't know if it was true or not, but it was. They said that there was a question: is 7 + 2 = 6 + blank? And they said
I saw that one too.
45% of college entrants cannot solve that problem.
Now I got to tell you, it did take me a few seconds. Okay, so but I haven't done it. I haven't done it in a while. Wait a minute, is the left side supposed to equal the right side? Is this algebra? So that's
kind of algebraic.
Yeah. Oh, getting back to VDH, Victor Davis Hanson. So I remember one time, Dan Proft and I had him on the WLS radio show that we did. And we thought he was, just fantastic. Yeah, I mean, he's, it's just one gem after another. Our program director comes in afterwards, and he's a really nice guy. I love this program director. I still love him. I haven't,
was that Kipper?
Talked to him in years, but I've talked. It was not Kipper McGee. No, somebody else. But he was a really good guy. He comes in and afterwards and says, "Nah, you can't." It's like too dry, too dull. VDH, and for all I know, for WLS at that time of the day, maybe it was, but we loved VDH, and we wanted to have him on. Hey, I also wanted Sean from Elmwood Park to win the WLS contest be the be the show host for a day, and he lost twice. Okay,
Wow.
so that's the lesson for you. Just keep plugging away. So did you see this? And I think this actually happened. I saw the Fox News tweet about Brad Sherman, the congressman. He was on a flight, and they caught him leafing through porn on his Twitter feed. Did you see that? Okay. And I mean, his excuse is, look, I'm just scrolling down, and those things just pop up, and that's where you caught, the snapshot of me on the airplane.
It could be.
Well,
that,
except for
that
one
the
thing,
algorithm...
sir.
Okay.
Except for one thing, he's probably looked at it before, and the algorithm.
Yeah.
Why do you think I've got so many pictures of Sydney Sweeney? Even though, I mean, it's like every other picture is of Sydney Sweeney. I'm surprised that it hasn't popped up, via Elon Musk onto this podcast right now.
The algorithm right now is obsessed with showing me pictures of this one girl. And the reason is because she is cute, and she's always in a bathing suit. So,
okay.
And what she does is the way they go is she starts out. She goes, "Hi, hungry? Can I make you a sandwich?" And then she
and
goes
you're
into
hungry.
the,
You really do want to.
and then she goes into the kitchen, and she makes the most wonderful sandwiches you've ever seen. I mean, like a loaf of sourdough cut in half, and then melted brie poured on it, and then beef, shredded beef. It just they're amazing sandwiches, and I love looking at the sandwiches. And
is she actually making the sandwiches?
Yeah,
herself?
she's actually making the sandwich, and then
or is that done through the artifice of editing?
No, it's actually her making the sandwich in her bathing suit. And so now the algorithm thinks I'm obsessed with this girl. It's like, no,
when in fact you like sandwiches.
I like sandwiches.
I mean, you may spill a little mayo, while you're. Chris says, I like looking at pictures of Paige Spiranek for golf tips. Excuse me, and I haven't seen her in a while, so
or her golf tips.
She might have been rotated out, and might not be coming back to the golf season, I guess. But all right. On that note, what should we move to next? So this Nick Fuentes guy, he had this. Let's go to the Eval Jacoby tweet about Nick Fuentes. I mean, Fuentes is getting way too much attention. I mean,
I agree. I think it's like shooters. I don't think his name should be mentioned.
I agree.
High school shooters.
I agree with that.
I don't mind if Tucker Carlson interviews him. I would have liked to seen a few more hard hitting questions.
How about like one hard hitting question? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But no, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So, Tucker fans the Flames.
But I'm not, I'm not saying there's no way he should have given that guy a platform. I think we need to hear. I think, I think the Nazis marching in Skokie, when you can see the idiots that think that's a good idea, I think that's better than making them hide.
I was a newspaper editor in Skokie at the time that happened. Look, the thing about Fuentes is what I suddenly realized was the guy is under 30 years old. I didn't think so. I thought, he's under 30. And, I'm a boomer. Never trust anyone under 30. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. So, we put a bow on something. We were talking about Epstein earlier. Did you see what happened with Jasmine Crockett? So, she's trying to. Everybody knows. I think it's a common belief that she's an idiot. Okay, but but then she was trying to.
She's a cute idiot.
Okay, she tried to redeem herself, and I think she was getting a little head of steam until she was outing a number of politicians for having been subsidized by Epstein.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did see that.
And then it turned out it was just a different guy named Epstein. So that kind of set her back a couple of squares.
And well, the
I'm,
funny
I'm,
thing
I'm
is some
thinking,
of the donations that she was referencing were made after Epstein died.
yeah, right. That's always, you hate those.
After Epstein didn't kill himself.
Right, right. I mean, you hate the anachronistic, um, I mean that's on the order of Dan Rather having those uh, emails or memos or letters or something like that from George Bush that are in Times New Roman, which hadn't been created at the time or something like that. It's
Oh
just,
yeah. It was
yeah,
the subtext.
yeah,
The IBM typewriter was not able to do that.
right, right. Those things will trip you up a little bit. In any event,
Jasmine Crockett, her district is well, it's still up in the air, right? Whether Texas is going to be allowed to redistrict because they're trying to Kinzinger her,
okay.
aren't they?
Okay. I all I look at is, the sexy stuff, like the Epstein mistakes. So so there was this terrible incident a few days ago on this CTA train where a woman was set on fire by a guy who had been arrested apparently 71 times before this. And this happened right well, I tweeted this week that I was walking at Clark and LaSalle, and then people corrected me. Clark and LaSalle are parallel streets. You can't walk on Clark and LaSalle. However, I said at the end of the universe, those streets meet. And somebody said, yeah, they meet actually at Cafe Brower in Lincoln Park. So there you go. But anyway, the next night, I was walking at around 8:15 the next night because I was at a function for where I work. And I was a little bit worried about what was going because of what happened the night before on the train. So I put my hand in my pocket like Michael Corleone did to make gangsters think he had a gun, and it worked. Okay. Now I would have preferred having ICE patrolling the streets. Okay, but that worked. Now Tom Owens. Tom Owens, our guy.
Our
Right?
guy, our
Always
guy.
guesses what's in your background. My guess is he's not going to guess right that it was Michelle's
Scalp.
Exactly. But he's a big gun guy. So he suggested that I go with a spurless 38 or 357. That means spurless means hammerless. It wouldn't get caught up in the pocket of my hoodie or Burberry.
Yeah.
As for ICE, you'd better not play the part of the colonialist settler. Play the globalist elite role. Okay. Thank you, Tom. And if Tom, if you watch this, you're going to see yourself quoted, which I gotta think is a thrill. In any event,
What I've noticed, and I could be wrong, but I can't. I'm looking at the race of the perp and the victim in this
okay.
in this incident, and they don't seem to be the same. And
Yeah.
it just occurs to me if they were reversed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! I mean, you thought, look how up in arms people were about what happened to Jesse Smollett.
Exactly.
Could you imagine?
By
We'd
the way, I
be.
still hold fast to my one conspiracy
I
belief
know that. I
that
know that.
he was set up. But all
It
right.
made
So
me think. It made me think back to a few Thanksgivings ago. My niece, who was like 20 years old at the time, living in Chicago. I was driving her home from Thanksgiving, and she goes, "It's okay, Uncle Tim. Just drop me off at the end of the red line, and I can take that all the way home."
oh boy. Oh
I'm like, no,
yeah.
no, you're not.
Now the end where Howard Street or South.
The
Oh
south
oh
end.
gee
Yeah,
whiz.
because yeah, it's
You
going to
know
drop.
my my old. I've done this before. One of my best imitations is of the CTA train conductor circa 1967. Okay.
Uh,
Fullerton, change for the Ravenswood. Howard Street, end of the line. So and in those days, the only thing you had to worry about on the train was for me like riding backwards because I'd get nauseated riding backwards. Even when I saw the movie with Tom Cruise and Rebecca De Mornay, I believe that was I think it was his first movie. But he's riding the train and they're making love on the train, but he's
uh,
seated backwards, and I got nauseated looking at that on the screen. So
wow.
that's how much I could get nauseated.
I heard Tom Cruise did too.
Yeah, apparently so.
It's-
So, it's the one that starts. Just get those old records.
I
Oh,
know, I know, I know
yeah.
which one. I
But
know
we
which
can't.
one.
We don't know the name of the movie anymore. Starts with a
Risky
B.
Risky
Business.
business.
Risky Business. I knew there was a B in there. Thanks, Chris, for saving us. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Paul Vallis, who's been a guest on this very podcast. Okay, I mean, there's been like Dobie Maxwell, stand-up comedian, Mike North, stand-up comedian. Tim Slagle is the co-host, stand-up comedian. Paul Vallis has been a guest on this podcast, and and he should have been the mayor of Chicago, I think. But he was asked. He tweeted, "Is lighting a woman on fire the wake-up call the CTA needs right now?" Apparently, the 130 Chicago police officers assigned to the CTA is no larger than the mayor's security detail. Okay. And Vallis is figuring out ways that they could take some of these untrained security people and just convert them into, more cops who could actually patrol the 79 stations, 146 platforms, and 335 trains that the CTA has. I mean, people are scared to use public transportation, which is maybe the one reason that even though the Kennedy construction is over, it still can, you still get a lot of traffic on there. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. Now,
I guess there's a video of him actually filling up that bottle at a gas station.
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
which I wonder if he had to pay first, if it was like, I want I want 50 cents of gas, please.
Oh my goodness.
Or if he just drained the hose.
I follow Twitter a lot, and while the Border Patrol was busy, running after innocent people into schools and things like that, I noticed that a lot of people like Tribune types or Tribune adjacent types, like Royal Gregory Pratt or something like that, all these people were tweeting about how horrible it was, what the Border Patrol was doing. Yeah, I didn't see any of them tweeting about how horrible it was that somebody got engulfed in flames on the CTA. And I think what it all comes down to is, and both sides use this as an argument, it's Stalin's old, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. I mean, with him it was about 50 million people, and Orwell then said, well, where's the omelet? But you see, well, like that guy Budin or whatever, who got ousted as the district attorney in San Francisco. I mean, Kim Fox's days are done as well. I mean, that was their argument. Basically, you break a few eggs to make an omelet. It's okay if we, some people get off, and the Safety Act is really, in general, is going to be very good. But then you got a guy 70 times. He's been arrested. So apparently you have to break 6 dozen eggs to make an omelet. But
I can't imagine the effort it would take to get arrested 70 times. It's
right.
That's how old is the guy? How old is he? Like 40? Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Here's the thing. I mean, we make the argument too. I mean, we'll say, well, it's just a few bad cops. I mean, how many times, with all the arrests that were made by the Border Patrol and ICE, whatever, I mean, how many incidents, really are questionable? Well, they certainly probably had video of every single one that was questionable. And then, of course, they came up with a statistic that, Trump said he was going to try to get the worst of the worst, but it turned out that only 2% of those 620 arrested in Chicago were the worst of the worst. The problem is, okay, Trump oversold, his hype on what he was going to get, but it didn't mean that the people that they got belonged in this country either, because there's, if you came over during the Biden flood of the last couple of years,
Sure.
You're not maybe the worst of the worst, but you're not the best of the best either, and you probably should be deported. Okay,
but if you're in the bottom 2%, you are the worst of the worst, aren't you?
Well, that's for sure, but that's only 2% of the 600. Whatever. They just made it into, oh, look what Trump was selling, as if this isn't a legitimate basis for getting rid of a lot of people, which there was, because you don't want them in your building, and Michelle Obama doesn't want them in her hair. That's a problem right there. So okay,
I think they should go back to Martha's Vineyard. That's the best. That's the best idea I can think of.
Right. So did you see? Let's turn a little bit of levity here. ABC7 Chicago tweet. is this true, or is, O.J. Simpson's estate is giving $58 million to the family of Ron Goldman or maybe Nicole's? $58 million
I didn't know they
going
had
from
58
O.J.'s
million.
estate. Well, here's the thing. I'm wondering if they are going to be using it to find the real killer. So, okay, I'll wait for the laugh on that one. But no, that supposedly, yeah, O.J. Simpson's estate agrees to pay $58 million to Ron Goldman's family. So, justice delayed is okay, I guess. So there you go. All right, we'll have more fun coming up. We'll comb Michelle Obama's hair, straighten out a few facts here. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And, Chris, our producer, actually lost his concentration during the last segment because he was trying to see if parallel lines do in fact meet at the end of the universe. Is that right, Chris? Is that what happens?
Pretty close. I just know that LaSalle changes directions up to like Old Town Lincoln Park area. And
okay.
Yeah, right at the BP station right there by the North Avenue beach. I believe that Clark does run into LaSalle.
Yeah, I knew that at some point I'm right. It just takes a while to get there.
I guess the end of the universe is at Lincoln Park.
There's no train there.
So, if I were still a sportscaster, I wouldn't be because I'd be fired immediately. The Michigan Notre Dame game was played. Were you a Michigan football fan at all, or no? I know you're.
I went to Michigan.
Okay, you went to Michigan. Michigan played Northwestern, my alma mater, on Sunday
in Wrigley Field.
Last Saturday at Wrigley Field. Yeah, and I was at least a little ambivalent because I've renamed Northwestern University of Qatar Evanston campus because of the way they treat the Jewish students. So I'm not in favor of Northwestern, my alma mater, and I'm not in favor of Michigan either. And it turned out it was a pretty exciting game because Michigan committed turnover after turnover, especially in the fourth quarter. Their freshman phenom, an 18-year-old guy named Bryce Underwood, threw 2 interceptions and also handed the ball off in an awkward manner. So they had 3 turnovers and they barely won the game at the end. Okay. Wow. So, and do you know this Bryce Underwood, who he is?
I'm not familiar.
Very highly recruited. In the latest thing, of course, is they used to just pretend to pay the athletes with slush money and all that. Now it's above board. Now they got these endorsement deals. And he supposedly got millions and millions from Larry Ellison, a Jewish guy. Okay, so he's getting paid. He's the Oracle guy. His son bought CBS. Okay, that's what we're talking about.
With his allowance.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I thought if I were still on TV, my lead on camera, you tell me if this would have worked. Okay, on the Fox News or Channel 5. I thought it was a very classy move by an 18-year-old Bryce Underwood when, after Michigan eked out a win after a terrible fourth quarter, he was humble enough to say, "I just want to thank my Lord and Savior, Larry Ellison, for giving me $12 million to play here." Now, will you think that I would still have a job? Because that's all I could think of. Because you should have seen how they do the post-game interviews on these things? They have the nice girl up there saying, trying to spin it in a positive way. The guy totally screwed he's only 18, but he's getting 12 million or close to that. And he screwed the pooch. He almost lost to Northwestern. All right. And it's so she asked the question, how they frame it. It's like, how did you manage to keep your mental toughness? Parentheses, after you screwed the pooch, and he was actually good about it. He said, I just got to give credit to, our kicker and our defense and everything like that. But that's how they ask the tough questions. I mean, Tucker Carlson is tougher on Nick Fuentes than she was on him. But in any event, speaking of Northwestern, So have you? There's a TV show called Goliath, and I forgot if it's on Netflix or whatever. We were watching this because while we were waiting
that's several years old, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. We were waiting for Landman to come back. Okay, so let's try something different. I heard something good about Goliath. It turns out Goliath is just Landman. It's got Billy Bob Thornton in it.
Sure.
He's playing the same character he always plays in. Plays, this time he's a drunk and he's, trying to get back and be a good lawyer again. And he gets a jab against Northwestern in there. It's not even a Taylor Sheridan vehicle, but somehow they get their jabs. Anyway, we stopped watching it after one episode because Landman came back. And are you watching Landman? I thought of you when I saw Michelle Randolph, but I don't want to give it away. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
I'm not going to give it away. I will tease one thing. It won't be a spoiler. There's one point where Chris, are you watching it at all, Landman?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. Agree with me that when she's going for the interview to get into Texas Christian University, it is a laugh riot. Okay. I mean, she is making the woman sitting behind the desk, ready to tear her hair out over the dumb things that she's saying. The only thing that it was missing was her midriff was covered, Tim, so you don't get to see her navel. But I mean, she's excellent. There's all kind. It's vintage Landman. I mean,
Are there any? Has there been any belly button sightings?
I haven't seen any belly button sights yet. There's Chris. Do you like it so far?
In that meeting, though, I don't know how close you're paying attention. She got a 29 on the ACT, which seems ridiculous.
Way too high. Because I don't know.
Playing her that dumb.
Yeah, that 29 is not dumb.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's way too high.
I took the ACT in 1970. I don't know if the scoring is the same, but I got a 20 on the ACT in 1970, and I got into the University of Illinois as my safe school. Okay, so but that's then. I don't. No, that's not dumb. You know what? They sometimes, the scripts are very good. You're right about that.
Isn't a perfect ACT 32 or 36?
36.
Yeah,
36.
29 is way too high for her.
Yeah, right. No, she was barely in the teens. Okay. I mean, let's put it this way. I think there's a good chance her waist, okay, that beautiful waist around that belly button is a greater number than her ACT score. Okay, Tim? All right. All right. All right.
At the end, Bruce, doesn't she get in her cheer outfit though?
I think she was. Yeah. She.
There you go, Tim.
All I can imagine her in their cheer outfit. So we haven't spoiled anything for you, Tim. You're going to love it.
For the adophiles out there.
Yeah, let's get a little serious for a second. There is actually a serious show on right now, called Death by Lightning, which is the story of hold it now, the 20th president of the United States, James Garfield, and it's pretty damn good. Have you heard about it?
I have not.
Okay, Chris, have you heard about it?
I have not. No.
I've been watching American Revolution.
Clark and LaSalle. He's not at the Cafe Brower yet. He's still on Clark and LaSalle.
But I have been watching the American Revolution on PBS though.
Yeah, but it's getting bad grades. I mean, I thought of you when I read about it because all we ever do when we talk about George Washington is talk about how his teeth weren't made of wood. They were slaves' teeth, and the slaves wanted to kill him. And that seems to be like Ken Burns. That's the whole thing is about George Washington having taken the slaves' teeth. Am I right about that?
It does seem to be. Yeah. I mean, but in between the talk that issue, it does seem
it's okay.
It is captivating. Ken Burns is always captivating.
But it's a little too woke, a little too much of a sop to wokeness.
There's stuff I didn't know. They're actually
like what? Like what did you learn about George Washington? His what? On the dollar bill, he didn't chop down the cherry tree, Parson Weems. What about George Washington?
I forgot.
You forgot one of the things. I
forgot already. But there was mention of something to do with the slave trade and the American Revolution.
All I know about George Washington. Oh, I'm sorry. All I know about George Washington is I believe in his first State of the Union. We always make fun of the states of the union, how just, pedestrian they are. They're awful. I think in the first line of one of his states of the union, he has the word vicissitudes in it. Okay. I mean, can you imagine Donald Trump saying vicissitudes? Or Joe Biden, even pre-senile Joe Biden.
I can imagine Tom Brokaw saying it.
Russell. No, there's no L in there. Okay, yeah.
So it still would. Vicissitude.
Now the liberal lion, he
Alf
was
said
subject to the.
vicissitudes.
I'm sorry, what?
Huge fan of Alf, by the way. He says vicissitudes in an episode. It was kind of centered around him saying that. I don't know if you remember. If you
I had
Alf
no idea that
Yes.
Alf actually said vicissitudes.
Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful. All right,
a
real
cat
quick.
in his mouth at the same time.
That's right. So the Pope came out with his favorite movies. I think this was last week's story. Wonderful Life, Sound of Music, Ordinary People, which was shot in Lake Forest. I mean, I've actually been to the Walker Brothers in Wilmette, where they have a picture of Robert Redford when he ate at Walker Brothers there. And that's one of the Pope's favorite movies. The degrees of separation between me and the Pope are marginal at best. I mean, so he said that, and also La Vita Bella, which is actually the Roberto Benigni movie about the Holocaust. That's the Italian translation. Life is Beautiful, which was depressing to me. But yeah, what do you think of that list of the Pope? No Casablanca, no Godfather. Boy, you'd think, being in
Well, I think
Vatican.
I'm probably the closer, because one of the priests that rotates in at our church taught the Pope.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously, he was he was actually.
What did he teach him?
It was substance abuse. It was he was a substance abuse intern under this priest, Father Bill Stenzel, and he actually rotates in and out of our church.
I thought he taught him to be weak-kneed on immigration.
And he actually
Your
said,
paws off our immigration policy, Pope.
not immigration, substance abuse.
Substance abuse. Okay.
But it's kind of funny. He says, so that you might run into someone someday that says that the Pope was at my intervention, and there's a really good chance they're not lying.
Wow, that's cool. So the Pope wasn't a stoner. No, I mean, no, he wasn't.
No. It's in his studies, in his seminary studies, he did a semester of substance abuse.
Right. I mean, worst thing
work.
the Pope did was be a White Sox fan, but who among us isn't guilty of that? Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap.
And that's the Weekly Wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The Weekly Wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.